This documentary is about my family and the past generations, and what our role was in the Civil War and how we ended up where we are today. This first photo is of Leonard Burton Bell and his wife Sophia, who are my great great grandparents, and the second one, their son, Leonard Clayton Bell, who is my great grandfather, who is military, as every male member of my family has been military throughout the past several generations. Vicksburg, Mississippi, July 6 A.D. 1863. To all whom it may concern, know ye that I, J. A. Killingsworth, a private of Company B, Regiment 37th Mississippi Vols, C.S.A., being a prisoner of war in the hands of the United States forces, in virtue of the capitulation of the city of Vicksburg and its garrison by Lieutenant General John C. Pemberton, C.S.A., commanding on the 4th day of July, 1863, do in pursuance of the terms of said capitulation, give this my solemn parole under oath, that I will not take up arms again against the United States, nor serve in any military, police, or constabulary force in any fort, garrison, or field work held by the Confederate States of America against the United States of America, nor as a guard of prisons, depots, or stores, nor discharge any duties usually performed by soldiers against the United States of America until duly exchanged by the proper authorities. Signed, John A. Killingsworth, sworn to and subscribed before me at Vicksburg, Mississippi, the 6th day of July, 1863. Alright. What family members were involved in the Civil War?
As far as I can tell from my research, and as far as I have gotten, Andrew Jackson Summers III was in the Civil War, and John Anderson Killingsworth was in the Civil War.
Alright, so what got you involved and interested in the genealogy of our family?
Growing up, part of my years in my grandparents' house, I heard them speak of a lot of family members that I knew nothing of. And I would hear them tell stories, and I just thought it was interesting how they used to live, and what they said was foreign to me for their way of life. So I started documenting, and then when I got older, I took a genealogy class, and then I was hooked on the history. It's your own family mystery. You know that they're out there, and it's amazing what you can uncover in the photos, and you learn more about where your family came from.
Alright, how many generations of our family, like father-son partners, served in the Civil War?
The only ones that I found record of so far is that Aaron Killingsworth fought side by side with his son in the Civil War. And when I mean side by side, for the same Confederate army.
Alright. And what parts of the family did serve on the Confederate side?
We had two family members that I have found so far. Pause that.
This photo is of Edith Ann Killingsworth, who was Leonard Burton Bell's mother and the sister to John Anderson Killingsworth and James Aaron Killingsworth. James Killingsworth was also in the Confederate Army. He enlisted in Mississippi in 1861 and was assigned to the 15th Mississippi Regiment. He achieved the rank of corporal. Now that we've talked about Leonard Burton Bell and his side of the family with Miss Killingsworth and her brothers, let's talk about Leonard Burton Bell's wife, Sophia Lorella Summers. She was born in Texas, but she also had ancestors and other family members who were in Tennessee. Her grandfather, Alexander Summers, had originally lived in Gallatin, born in 1817. Before all of this sort of came to be, Thomas Summers, the father of Alexander Summers, my fifth great grandfather on my maternal side, moved from North Carolina to Tennessee, Sumner County, approximately late 1700s, and married Priscilla Summers in 1804, right here in Sumner County. They together had 13 kids, two of which were twins. He actually served in the 2nd Regiment of West Tennessee Militia under Colonel John Cock, not to be confused with Major General John Cock of East Tennessee. Alright, so did the paternal side or the maternal side of the family serve in the Civil War?
Actually both, maternal and paternal, in speaking of relative terms of my grandparents. My grandfather's side was the Summers, and my grandmother's side was the Killingsworth side. So it was both, but it went back a couple of generations.
Alright, and what parts of the South, like what states did the family originally settle in?
So far I've gone back to, I need to look at my notes because there's so much information. The furthest back that I have found was in 1690. William Killingsworth I settled in Virginia. And then at some point, because of records and census and land records were not kept up very well, Anderson Killingsworth moved to North Carolina. Aaron Killingsworth was shown up in the census in 1804 in Sumner County, Tennessee, which is where we reside today. Do not know which parents moved them in or when exactly. On the Summers side of the family, in 1749 I show Alexander Summers was in Delaware. And at some point Thomas, which would have been his son or a grandson, because once again records are spotty in between, moved into North Carolina. And then Alexander Summers, who also ended up in Sumner County, Tennessee, in the middle 1800s.